the Italian Football Podcast.
Okay, let's move on to the worst of Serie A so far this season. We'll start off with the worst team of the season. We'll follow the same format as we did for the best team of the season. Just want to point out that we are picking more high-profile flops rather than just simply picking the worst team of the season. Because if we did that, we just have a bunch of players that you probably haven't heard of from Venezia, Lecce, and Cagliari, and that would be boring. So we're going to be a little bit mean and pick on the big players a little bit. Having said that, though,
exactly, because I think it's unfair to go after the Venezias and Monza. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just no.
Having said that, though, when I had to pick my worst goalkeeper, I could not find a goalkeeper from one of the bigger teams. So I've been forced to go for one from the smaller teams. And I've gone for Venezia goalkeeper Jesse Joronen because he's the only one that really stood out as being absolutely awful this season. He got dropped after 7 games after so many errors. It was so bad, so bad. And he's been replaced by Stankovic now. So yeah, Joronen is my goalkeeper. I couldn't find anyone else. I don't know if you have.
I have. Zion Suzuki is. I just don't think he's like, what the hell. He does things that has me going, what the hell, many times when I watch Parma. But yes, Joronen is definitely a good shout. But yeah, no, probably the one that should be. But it's just I've watched Parma games and this guy is. I'm watching going, what is wrong with you? Why did you do that? Why would you do that? Like, what are you thinking? He's the goalkeeper that has me saying that the most this season.
Yeah, he can be a little bit impulsive.
Clown gene, we call it.
But also at the same time,
he's got the clown goalkeeper gene.
At the same time, I feel sorry for whoever's the goalkeeper for that Parma team. Because it's just it's like you're just abandoned, like Moses.
You literally are abandoned. You're like Robinson Crusoe on an island. Mm. Like he just doesn't believe in defending.
Their defense is the Nima meme. If you know, you know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right. Let's do the defense then. So I've gone for a back 4 again. And I have 2 Milan players in this team. Could have picked probably could have picked 4 Milan defenders. But I've gone for Fikayo Tomori because I think that he's had a terrible season. Lots of mistakes, lost his place in the first team, bad attitude off the pitch with that Pulisic incident where he ripped the ball off Pulisic and gave it to his mate, his old Chelsea mate, Tammy Abraham, which he then missed. I thought that was awful. I think this could be his last season at Milan, potentially. So Tomori. And then I've also gone for Theo Hernandez because he has very high standards and he's had a bad season on an even worse season off the pitch, things we can't actually talk about. And he's lost his place to Alex Jimenez. And I think for both his on-field performance and the stuff that's going on off the pitch, as well as his contract running out in 2026 and the financial costs of that, if they are going to renew, I think there's a very, very good chance he's going to leave in 2025. So, not been good for Theo Hernandez. And then my other ones are Ben Godfrey from Atalanta. He was signed for like 15, 18 million or something. He's only made 2 sub appearances, 49 minutes of football, and he will be almost certainly sold or offloaded in January. And then Spinazzola, who was a free transfer, it wasn't that costly. But he's, it's sad because he was the best player in his position at Euro 2024, maybe the best in Europe at that time. And what a player. And then
Euro 2020.
Sorry, Euro 2020. Yeah. Since that injury, he's just, he has been a shadow of himself, unfortunately. He's only got 3 starts, 265 minutes of football. He will be 100% sold or even released in January so that Napoli can bring in another backup to Oliveira. So, yeah. Those are my back 4.
I've got my back 5. I've got Spinazzola and Mazzocchi on the wings. You can put them right and left how you want because Mazzocchi I thought Conte was going to be able to get the most out of him. And instead he changed the formation because of him, because he couldn't trust him playing in wide. And that is very, very disappointing. I'm really disappointed with him there. I think Godfrey, for all the reasons you said, and Tomori as well, they've really, really been disappointing.
Pavlovic has been a big disappointment as well.
Yeah, he has. He really has. But yeah, I mean, I need another central defender. And I think like Mats Hummels is coming into his own now, but the beginning of that tenure was an absolute joke. Like the way how all the clown things that happened in that defense. Now, some of it is, of course, his fault. But some of it is, of course, is not his fault. It's because Roma were just a mess. But he has done really well recently, so I can't really pick him. But yeah, I mean, it's difficult because uh, it's like because at the same time we did say we didn't want to pick any the small clubs as well, but because of otherwise it'd be players we haven't heard of. But I do I don't know. It's a difficult one because I don't want to just pick Milan players because then I'll be accused of having anti-Milan bias, which is hilarious.
Yeah, but generally you pick the players from teams that are struggling. So
Yeah.
big teams that are struggling most are Milan and Juventus. So you're gonna generally pick on them.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think I'd probably go with what's his name, Pavlovic, Tomori, Godfrey, Spinazzola, and Mazzocchi.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, midfield. So we both have a midfield three. I've got another Milan player, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I think he had a promising last season, but he's really lost his way this season. He's lost his starting place. No goals in Serie A or the Champions League. No assists either in Serie A or the Champions League. Just one assist in all competitions. In the Coppa Italia, no goals at all this season. He's really lost his way, and probably clearly it's not working with Fonseca. Maybe if Fonseca's replaced, he can find his feet again. But it's a shame because he was really, really good.
You know
He was
what?
really
Sorry,
promising.
I just want to make a change. I don't want Pavlovic there. I'm putting Rafael Varane there because that was an absolutely unmitigated disaster. So Godfrey, Tomori, Varane, Spinazzola, Mazzocchi. Sorry.
Yeah. Good shout on Varane. Yeah, good shout. Well, they didn't really cost him anything, disaster. To be fair.
Yeah, but it wasn't like that. He hung up his boots. Like, I mean, Jesus. Like, come on. That was not a good deal. That's on par with Vidic when he came to Inter and was completely finished and didn't speak a word of Italian, and Mazzarri was there who barely speaks Italian, let alone English, and grunts at people like a caveman. So no, it's no those three. Sorry, yeah, go.
Yeah, no, I think Varane's a very good shout. Midfield, Ruben Loftus-Cheek I've already said, and then I've got two Juventus players. The midfield was supposed to be Juventus' strong point this season. It's where they made huge investments. And I mean, there's one that stands out above everyone else. Of course, that's Douglas Luiz. 50 million. He was supposed to be, along with Koopmeiners, as like the big, the player that would take Juventus onto the next level. Yeah, marquee, 50 million. And he's been a disaster. He's given away two penalties. He can't get in the starting 11. He's had injuries. He's got injured again now, and he's just been just a really, really big disappointment. And then I've got Nicola Fagioli as well. He had one brilliant game against Leipzig where he looked like prime Xavi. Other than that, he's looked like prime, I don't know, you fill in the blank. He's had a terrible season. Motta seems to have lost faith in him, and Juventus are open to selling as early as January because we know they need to make a sacrifice to bring in some money to strengthen the defence, to strengthen their attack, to strengthen the team squad, full stop, especially with the injuries to Cabal and to Bremer. So he's had a really bad 18 months, full stop, hasn't he? Fagioli. So those are my midfield three. But there's quite a few to choose from.
I was going to, Ruben Loftus-Cheek for sure, because based on the first season he had, and now he's lost his place in the lineup, and he looks like a complete waste of money now. Same with Douglas Luiz for the reasons you outlined. I can't pick Fagioli because I don't think I didn't have any expectations from him. I've never rated Fagioli as highly as some do, so I can't really pick him. But I do think Toon Koopmeiners is, if you take how much he's cost and the level he's played at, it's atrocious. I'm sorry. It's just absolutely atrocious. it's just not good enough. Doesn't mean that neither him or Luiz or Koopmeiners can't turn it around. Of course they can. But if we're talking up until this point, if you look at the price tag, the expectation, and what's been delivered, I mean, those two are just. It's just.
I did think myself of putting Koopmeiners. I will be honest, and I just stayed away. But I think the argument's there to have him in there based on the price tag. I think he has been set up to fail as well. But yeah. Attack now. So you're going to have 2 in your attack. I'm going to have 3. So first of all, I've got Mehdi Taremi. He was signed to strengthen Inter's kind of backup or rotation options in attack, which has been Inter's weakness in the last years. That's really, for me, been the only area really Inter really needed to improve, and he hasn't strengthened it. He's 8 starts, 9 sub appearances, just 1 goal and 4 assists, and 3 of those all came in the same game against Red Star Belgrade. I think he's got 1 goal contribution in Serie A. So yeah, he's been a disappointment. Although I did already have some question marks on him based on his last season at Porto. I've got Matthias Soulé, although I have a bit of sympathy for Soulé, a little bit like with Koopmeiners. I think he's been set up to fail. He was Roma's big statement signing of the summer, and we're recording this actually during Roma's game, so I don't know whether Soulé's come on and done anything in the second half, but no, he hasn't. In fact, is he even on the pitch? No, he isn't. So Soulé has 1 goal and no assists from 17 appearances, 8 of them starts. But tactically, he doesn't fit the system of any of the managers that have had the 3 managers that have been at Roma this season. He's a winger, and they've been playing basically not wingerless. If that's a word, is that weird? Is that a word? Wingless.
Wingers, yeah.
Wingless is a word, isn't it? The wingless wonders, yeah. Wingless system, and he. Yeah, I feel sorry for him. He's been set up to fail. I blame that more on the Roma management, but again, at the same time, big marquee signing, and it's been a disaster so far. And then my third player I've gone for is Vitinha. Again, I'm looking at the price tag here. Genoa spent 20 million on Vitinha. 20 million. That's not much less than what they got for Retegui. And he's got 14 matches this season, 9 starts, 0 goals. It's just for a team like Genoa to pay 20 million and for him to be that bad. I mean, that's just terrible business. So, yeah, really bad.
I have to push back on the Taremi thing for the simple reason that out of 16 games, he has not played in 6 of them, and the remaining 10, he's only started 1. That was against Lecce, where he had an assist. Against Genoa, 15 minutes. Atalanta, 11 minutes. Monza, 34 minutes. Udinese, 15 minutes. Torino, 22 minutes. Juventus, 3 minutes. Empoli, 15 minutes. Venezia, 19 minutes. Napoli, 8 minutes. I don't possibly understand what more he could have done.
He's got 8 starts.
No, he doesn't. Not in the Serie A, he doesn't.
No, but in all competitions, he's got 8 starts.
We said we're doing on just Serie A.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, I'll give you that. that. If we're talking Serie A, maybe know what?
But if we're talking about the Champions League as well, look at the games. Arsenal, City. Was he bad in those games? No. He was. That was a game where he worked hard for the team. They were without possession and they suffered. And
having said that, though, if he was doing better overall in all games, including the Champions League, including in training and everything, he would be getting more time, and I think
because he's been rotated. Simone Inzaghi has rotated 7 players, between 5 to 8 players every single game because he has to, and he's spoken about this because of the fact that they play every 3 days. If I were to criticize Taremi for his performances, I criticize him heavily for the Leverkusen game, where I thought him and all of Inter's attack were poor, as we discussed at the time. And I think he was poor against Leipzig. But other than that, those games against Arsenal, against City, against, Cervena Zvezda, he scored a goal and made an assist. I mean, again,
I think that there's no excuses. It's not good enough. It's not good enough because, I mean, I think if we're going to put players like Spinazzola, like Godfrey, who have barely played, and other players, then, we can't. I don't think you can use the excuse of not playing.
He came as a free transfer. Ben Godfrey cost 15 million.
Spinazzola come as a free transfer.
Spinazzola came, but I get that. But what I'm saying is, I think that if you're going to have to play more than 232 minutes across 16 games, Like, I just feel like it's not like, especially when you've been rotated in a team that's actually doing well. I think with Spinazzola it was different because he was, they're playing once a week and he can't get into the team. There's a difference there. And when he's played, he's been bad in the Serie A. I think that's that. I think that's.
I would
far
say it's the other way around. I would say you're playing once a week, then you're not going to get as many opportunities because Conte has one set
Well, if
system
you're
and the
not,
other
yeah,
guy's
but
going
no,
to
but
play.
when you don't play once a week, when you're playing against teams that you should, he's brought in to help Conte. He's supposed to be the quality, and he's not even getting in when Napoli play Empoli. I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
there's no excuse for
yeah.
rotation.
We'll agree to disagree. I think there's no excuses on Taremi at all. He's not
I
been.
don't think
He's
you can
not
say
been
that in
good
the
enough.
Serie A. If you want to talk about, that's a different debate. But in the Serie A, when you play 232 minutes in 16 games, I don't know what else he could have done, especially when he's played in the important games in Europe, and he's done pretty okay, except for one or two games. One game where he was bad, and one where the whole team's attack was bad. And the second game, he was not too good either in that game. But they won. But when he's called upon, he's not been played against Hellas Verona. He's not been played against these simple teams where he can score goals. And also the role that he's got in Inter is different. He's much more deeper. He's far away from the goal. So there's this nuance to this. But if we're talking about the attack, look, Sule, Vitinha, Belotti, like, sweet Jesus, like, what they've been bad. They've been bad. And we can criticize Vlahovic. He has scored 7 goals, but he's missed quite a few. I think it's Raspadori is another one who's been incredibly disappointing for me. I've expected far more from him. There's quite a few to pick from, to be honest. It's
Raspadori needs to leave. I mean,
he really
he's.
does need to leave. He really
I
needs to
mean,
kickstart
I
his
mean, you're
career.
talking about the amount of game time that Taremi's had. Well,
He's not getting in.
Raspadori's had 253 minutes
Well,
in
that's
Serie
20
A.
more. That's 22 more than Taremi in the Serie A, playing once a week. I mean, again, you're not rotating. They were in the Coppa Italia, but
Well, it's Conte. You're not going to get a game. He has a set 11 and they'll play every single game. So he's got no chance.
I love that crazy lunatic.
Yeah.
But no, it's not been good. I want him to leave because I really rate the player. I think it's been very, very disappointing. And yeah, look, it's I don't know who to pick out of those that I mentioned. I think they've all been awful. Belotti as well is like, what's going on? Like, I mean, if you can't even do anything here, I don't know what we're doing. Like, why even continue playing football then? Like, what's the point? Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, unfortunately he's been finished for a good 3-4 years now.
yeah, it is. No,
Yeah.
it's quite a few. So to take your pick from them, I think they've been, and Sule for sure. I mean, if we're looking at the number of the money spent and all of that, but then there's also this thing where he came to a Roma that is a bit of a mess, and I don't know. And when it comes to Vitinha, well, maybe they overpaid for him. Maybe that he's not that good, and Genoa got suckered. So I don't know. It's difficult, but I think Sule definitely because of
Well, Vitinha flopped at Marseille, and they still paid 20 million for him. So I mean,
so I can't. I don't know if So I'll probably have to go with Sule and Vitinha, or we'll have to have Belotti in there as well because he's been atrocious when he's played. So yeah, Belotti and Sule. But yeah, any one of those goes. You can pick any of them.
Yeah. Okay.
And also, I think it might be a little bit unfair, but I don't know how much Lecce you've watched, but Kristovic has been really pissing me off this season. Like, he has genuinely gotten.
Isn't he living off the first 3 games of last season, basically?
Yeah. Like, he has been getting on my nerves a lot this season. And yeah, so yeah, little shout out there too.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go through the worst of the worst. Flop of the season. I've gone for. I think I have to go for Douglas Luiz.
Yeah,
As
it's
flop
hard
of
to
the
disagree.
season
If
so
you
far.
think about what he cost and all those,
Yeah.
it's difficult to say anything.
Worst transfer. I mean, you could say Douglas Luiz again, but in order to make things a bit different, I think I'm going to go for for Matthias Sule.
I'm going for Matthias Sule because of the reason that for the reason that it was the worst transfer in the sense that they bought a player that they didn't know how to use, and he signed for a club that this was such an important decision for him, and he got it wrong, and he went to a club, whether he was misled or there were promises made that weren't kept. This was just a bad decision all round. Unless they bring in a coach that can play in a way that can utilize him. I think he's been overall, all things considered, between transfer fee and everything, I think Sule stands out for me. Douglas Luiz, of course, because he's been the flop, but like you said, it's you don't want to just pick one all the time.
Yeah, fair enough. Worst coach. I mean, I think Fonseca and Motta need to be a little bit careful. I think I'd have to go Ivan Juric. I mean, that was a horror show. Again, I think he was set up to fail a little bit as well. But if you're looking at it overall, I mean, that was just from all angles, from why did you appoint him, to the actual performance of the coach, to the fact that the entire changing room hated his guts, and not even a single one of them even said goodbye or thank you to him at the end. Just everything about that was just a complete disaster. So taking everything into account, I think it's Juric by a landslide. But there's a few that need to be careful.
I think it was a stupid appointment. If you remember at the time, we both said it's like, why are you bringing him here? He's not going to work. So I can't blame him. I think you need to, if you, square pegs round holes. If you make a bad decision and appoint someone who has no business being there tactically or whatever, and you know that he's a volatile character, you're asking for trouble. I mean, you talk about being set up to fail. That's definitely like that for me with Juric. But I this breaks my heart a little bit. But Luca Gotti was just not good at Lecce. Like it's and Gianpaolo's come in and he's done well. He's done better. So I think that's one of them too. Luca Gotti it's heartbreaking. But also, I'm not. It might seem a bit harsh, but Eusebio Di Francesco, like, what's the point? I mean, at this, like, literally, what is the point? You know that when he comes to a club in the Serie A, they're going to finish last or get relegated or before he's sacked. What is the point? And also, you have to say Alessandro Nesta. He has failed miserably at Monza. Like, they're not. Yeah. They shouldn't be 19th. They've got.
I love the guy.
I love him too.
But he has been a little bit very unlucky in some games.
Of course,
but yeah, I mean the table doesn't lie at the end of the day.
He's 19th, 1 win, 7 draws, 8 defeats. It's like the squad should. I'm not saying should be in Europe, but it sure as hell should not be 19th.
No, they're much better than that.
So I probably have to go with Nesta, to be honest. Now that I say it out loud, the more I talk about it, has to be. But if we're gonna, in terms of performance, it has to be Nesta. But if we're talking about cluster Fs, it's Juric. The Juric appointment was a cluster F from beginning to end. Like, yeah.
So yeah, it was. It was a complete cluster F. Okay, final two before we finish off. Prem face of the season. Right, I this has just come on Saturday. Actually, I think this is Prem face of the season so far. Although if you can remember a better one, Nima, then please do shout it out. But I'm going for the European lad who, on this Saturday, the past weekend, tweeted out that Marcus Thuram had opened the scoring for Aston Villa against Manchester City. He tweeted it out together with a picture of Jean Duran, who had actually scored the goal to open the scoring for Aston Villa. I thought long and hard about this, about how he possibly got from Jean Duran to Marcus Thuram. Like, how did it happen? Like, I was just trying to think. I don't know. Have they played together? Have they Thuram's never played in the Premier League. Thuram plays for Aston Villa. Thuram plays for Inter. Like, how could this possibly happen? I could not believe it. Anyway, Thuram quote tweeted it, which it was hilarious, with a screenshot
it was so funny
of the
what he
Capocannoniere race, and with his current 11 goals, crossing off the 11 and scribbling 12 next to it on top with a caption.
So funny.
Thanks, bro.
It's so funny.
That's not getting beaten this season.
That is absolutely fantastic trolling by Thuram. Like, for me, that's like Baggio of the season by Thuram. Like, that is the way he's done it too, with the scribbling, and it's just no, that's funny. That's genuinely funny. Marcus Thuram seems like a very funny person. Like, he has a sense of humor, and he seems like a really genuinely funny person to be around. Like, he makes jokes, and no, he's funny. Yeah, I got Miguel Delaney because I sent this to you. So one of our patrons, okay, he tagged us, Kenzie Moltisanti. He tagged us under one of Miguel Delaney's. He tagged the pod under one of Miguel Delaney's meltdowns over Serie A, which he has quite often, and it was about the 100 best footballers in the world that Guardian does every year, and Lautaro was 7th, and he's written Lauturo, so he can't even spell his name right. So he's got Lautaro Martinez 7th. I must WhatsApp my colleagues at the Guardian about this voting system. Is there even an alternate universe where Martinez is better than Salah? And someone's replied to him saying, well, he's actually won quite a few trophies. He was the best player in Serie A, was the best player in Coppa, blah, blah. And then he goes, and then you see him play. And then someone tagged us, the pod, right, in this thread, did not reply. We have neither you or me replied, and he just blocked us. He just blocked the pod. Yeah, he blocked the pod. And I couldn't stop laughing.
He
so
blocked
I had
the pod
to,
when we haven't even said anything.
No, I hadn't said anything. We just got tagged. Now, I love this. I absolutely love this, because this is how this is for me the quintessential Prem face. You are so insecure and so scared that you just immediately know that you're going to get roasted because you're full of shit. And then you immediately go like that.
I wouldn't say Prem face. I mean, his initial behaviour was Prem faced, but the blocking behaviour, that's your quintessential corporate.
Yeah, I know,
mainstream media journalist.
Yeah, but it's part of it. I think this entire behaviour is just so quintessentially Prem face of the season, and I love it because he's such a hack. If I literally, of all these low IQ, low frequency, untalented, no talent, loser, corporate mainstream hacks, he ticks. He's like the Raul of Prem faces. If you have like
Raul,
Raul Gonzalez Blanco. If you remember Manchester United, Sir Alex Ferguson said, he's not a 10 in anything, but he's a 7 in everything.
Oh.
That's the thing. Miguel Delaney, when it comes to every Prem face metric, he's not a 10 in everything, but he's a 7 out of 10 in all the Prem face metrics. He's the complete Prem face. And it's just, I love it. So so I guess that's a compliment, I would say. But no, he is, he really is the most complete Prem face there is out there. And so insecure. I remember back a few years ago, as soon as somebody used to criticize him, he used to DM them abuse. He literally can't handle it, and it's just so funny.
Yeah, well,
I think it's hilarious. I think it's absolutely hilarious.
Well, you should stick to the old sports washing, shouldn't he?
Yeah,
he does.
He
moans about selective sports
washing. Exactly. It's funny who sports washes and who doesn't.
Yeah.
He's hilarious. But the biggest hack there is in English speaking football media, and that's telling something, because he's not really even good at it. He doesn't even he literally is an automaton. Like, you just tell him what to say and he does it. and he has no self-awareness because he gets completely called out and humiliated time and time again, but he just can't react. He can't. He just blocks you instead because he's got nothing to say. I think it's absolutely hilarious. I think he's funny as hell. I actually like Miggsy because of the fact that he's such a parody of himself. So I love it. God bless you, Miggsy. Happy Christmas.
I have no words. God
bless you, Miggsy. Happy Christmas.
I just don't even care.
And I urge everyone to go and read that thread. It is pure comedy.
I just remember him during the Qatar World Cup, crying about the whole sports washing thing, and then on the first day of the tournament,
that's what I mean.
Posting an image from his paid luxurious accommodation overseeing the beautiful views, and and he's I just thought that's brilliant. That just sums them up, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he is the quintessential Prem face. Like if you like I said, like there's different parameters of Prem facery. He's not the biggest one in 10. Like he doesn't hit the number 10 in any of them, but he's the overall, like if you have the spider that you judge player quality in, he's the one with whose spider is who covers the most area of the Prem face spider. Like that is literally him.
I also have to say he has a really stupid name. Like, who calls their kid Miguel Delaney? If your surname is Delaney, who on earth kills their kid Miguel? Honestly.
Nah, that's mean.
I don't care. Honestly, I don't care. It's a stupid name. It is up there with
stupid man.
It's up there with the most. It's up there with the most stupid names you can ever. It's up there with Neville. Like Gary
Neville is the best.
Gary Neville's grandparents calling their father Neville. I mean,
it's like if your surname is Neville, don't call your child Neville.
Like if you've got like a really kind of English, or in this case Irish name, like Delaney is the most Irish of kind of surnames you could get, right? You don't then call your first name like some kind of like really Hispanic or Mediterranean or Latino name, do you? Like it's like if your surname's Smith and then you call yourself, I don't know, Diego or Salvatore Smith. Like, you know what I mean? It's like the equivalent of that, Miguel Delaney. Like,
yes, Salvatore Smith. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
Like, can you imagine?
Salvatore Smith. That's brilliant. I love that. I get what you say. I know what you mean. Yeah, you're right. I see your point. Salvatore Smith.
That's after I said I'm staying out of it. I then destroy his name.
That's brilliant. I love that. Yeah, you're right. I see your point. Yeah, that's fair enough. Salvatore Smith.
If I went to school with Miguel Delaney, I'd be destroying that name all the time.
I'd be destroying him, not just for the name, just his general cuntish demeanor and stupidity and all the rest of it. But yeah, no, it's that's brilliant. Salvatore Smith. I see what you mean. Yeah, the name is it's oil and water, doesn't it? It doesn't go together.
No.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Or you could go the other way around as well. Like, can you imagine if you had like a really Italian surname like mine, Garganese, and then give me like a really English first name to go with it, like John
Garganese.
John Garganese.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, I love it.
Oh, God. Oh, dear. Someone's going to clip this up and send it to him, aren't they?
Probably.
Probably be Sanit. Sanit will do it 100%.
Yeah, that's right up his alley. Merry Christmas, everyone.
God, yeah. What a way to finish our last show before Christmas, isn't it? Like all this bullying.
Yeah. Well, we still have the Serie A of the season, and I know you're going to go after that woman.
Oh, Serie A. Oh, yeah. Good. I haven't really thought about this, so I'm just going to have to say Anna Guanerio. Serie A of the season.
Overall, I think she deserves it, but there's been quite just generally sometimes like you say, Italians in PR and life jackets, Titanic.
Life jackets and Titanic.
It's some of the stuff we've seen. I have to say, the Serie A app that we got a question on that on the Q&A last week, which I'm still laughing at. Like, because the way he described it, The patron who sent that in said that he'd signed up, he'd downloaded the Serie A app, and he couldn't make it work. It's in Italian, which I don't know if maybe he needs to update it, because when I download it, he could choose it in English. But the marketing emails that he gets are all in Italian, and he doesn't speak the language. That made me laugh to the point of, like, I still giggle at that. Like, I'm sitting here just working, and then I remember and I start laughing at it. And then you go into the app itself, when you choose English, like I did, and it's just full of absolute Borat gibberish English on their official app. That to me is like, it's so quintessentially Serie A. So yeah,
I thought,
and also I found a new one, Il Messaggero. I don't know how long they've had this, but they have an English version. It is gold. It is comedy gold. Il Messaggero's English version is just,
definitely a virgin.
well, I don't know, but it's hilarious. I can't stop laughing. I go in there once or twice every week just to read the English abominations of their articles, and it's just pure comedy. Yeah, but it's not really Serie A. It's just, whatever. Let's have an English page, and then I'll have anyone who can speak English who runs it. Like, it's just, what can you do?
Yeah, no, but I also, going back to the Serie A app, I love the other thing about, they've got like all these stats on the app, and they have like top posts and top offsides.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. The
Just
top offsides,
It's just the
top
best.
offsides,
The
and
best.
yeah.
I love it. Brilliant.
So
Oh,
yeah.
Italians, eh?
No,
Italians.
it's funny. I love it. I love these
They
Italianate.
never change. They
No,
never change.
and God bless them. I hope they never do change, because it's absolutely brilliant. I love it. It's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's
Anyway, let's leave it at that. So yeah, apologies again, guys. We couldn't give you a review of the weekend, but I hope you enjoyed this show. Anyway, and I hope everybody that celebrates Christmas has a fantastic Christmas and Happy New Year. And we will be back. We'll certainly be back in the new year with our normal program, but we might have a show before the new year, actually.
yeah.
In fact, we probably should do, actually.
Yeah, we'll probably will do. We'll have the
Yeah.
Q&A, if not for the patrons, but for everyone else, we should probably do one as well.
Yeah, we'll
Around
sort some, we'll definitely find some time in the next week to do something for sure.
Yeah.
Me and Nima will go away and work something out.
Yeah. And if people want to support the pod, as many have, we've never had as many patrons as we had this season. We've never had as many listeners on the free episode as well as we've had weekly this season, and subscribers on YouTube and Spotify and Apple and all of that. Thank you so much to everyone who's listened. But yeah, if you want to support the show on Patreon, then go to patreon.com/TIFP, $2.99 a month, excluding VAT. Thank you so much for everyone who's listened, downloaded, shared, followed. It's been really, really overwhelming, the support, and we're very grateful, especially to everyone who voted for us in the football content awards as well. And the response after that was very, very overwhelming and humbling.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, everybody, and we will see you next time. Have a Merry Christmas. Ciao, ciao.